Hey YouTube, what's up? I'm sorry, I'm a little tired today, and before you see this video, I just want to tell you that I messed up a little bit at the beginning until about 2 minutes in. I keep saying that the PS4 is running its games at barely running its games at 30 frames per second. I meant to say it cannot run games at 60 frames per second, and most of its game will not be able to. I know I just told you what I will be talking about in this video, and I'm very sorry about that. But I just wanted to inform you guys what I'm saying, that some games will only be able to go up the will be able to max at 30 frames a minute. They'll barely be able to max at 60 frames for some games, and I'll talk more about that in a second, which you guys will see. So sorry about that. I'm just a little tired. Please forgive me, and please enjoy. What's up YouTube, it's Patriarchs Gaming. It's bringing you a little video about the Xbox One and the PS4 and the things you probably didn't know about it. Now, okay, so the PS4, okay, well the biggest thing about this is that the PS4 cannot run games, or most games, at 30 frames per second at 1080p. What that means is that whenever you're playing a PS4 game like Killzone or Drive Club, it will only run at 30 frames per second, which means there's going to be an input lag when you're playing the game because it's not running at a fast enough pace. It's not putting enough frames in per second. Now it's been confirmed that at least all the launch titles, I'm pretty sure all the launch titles, because I know Rise, Son of Rome, Titanfall, well, not that Titanfall's not a launch title, and like Forza 5, all for Xbox One, they are all going to be at 60 frames per second at 1080p. So that means that the PS4, the only way you'll be able to run 60 frames per second is if you play it in 720p, which means that the whole graphics deal with the better graphics and everything is kind of pointless at this point, because the PS4, I mean, if you can't even play on a 1080p, that means you're not using the full graphics capability and pretty much downgrading. So I don't think a lot of people knew that the PS4 won't even be able to run games at 30 frames per second, and it's a next-gen console. It means that they really just threw all that stuff in, and that it's too much for the actual hardware itself. The graphics card has to be too much because it can't even run at 30 frames per second, which is pretty sad coming from a next-gen console. Now see, the Xbox, I think the way they fixed it is the cloud computing, so that they're able to put some of it on the cloud computing, and so they can run games at 60 frames per second. I think that's why they can run games at 60 frames per second. I don't know. But I just thought that was really crazy and stupid, the fact that PlayStation can't even run games, all their games, at 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second, which is pretty stupid to me. So like, if you're, well, I'm not sure, but if Call of Duty Ghosts, I think, runs 60 frames per second on the Xbox One. I'm not sure about the PS4. They haven't announced it. They said for Xbox One it is running 60 frames per second, but if it's not, that means that like snipers and stuff like that, that means whenever you're playing, you're going to be playing with an input lag, which would be extremely annoying if you're a sniper, because that means that, well, I mean, everyone else would be playing with it, but it'd still be stupid. It'd be a whole lot easier. So I think for me right now, I'll be going with an Xbox. That's my opinion. Xbox, just because of this one thing, I'm going to be going with the Xbox. I think for now, you never know when that might change. The next thing I'm going to talk about is that the Xbox might be having a RAM upgrade by the time it's announced, but by the time it's released. It's not, they haven't said it that's going to happen, but there's been rumors that the 8 gigabytes of DDR3 will be upgraded to 12 gigabytes of DDR3, and that the clock speed will be increased, which means that it would be, I believe, faster than the PS4, which would make Xbox even better than what it already is now. Because if you haven't noticed, the Xbox does a whole lot more than what the PS4 does. I mean, people say, well, yeah, the Kinect is stupid, comparing it to a Kinect that they forced you to add to the console. The reason why they're doing that is so that the games that come with the console the developers will want to use the Kinect in some way, because if you don't add something like the Kinect or something like that to the console, like the PlayStation 4i, developers aren't going to use anything that has to do with the PlayStation 4i, because there's really no point, because how many are you going to go buy it if you buy a PS4? Pretty much no one. So that means that there'll be special things with like COD Ghost and stuff that the Xbox will be able to do with the Kinect that you won't be able to do with the PS4. And I mean, the Kinect can do so much more than the PlayStation. I can't believe people can't realize that the Kinect is pretty amazing compared to the PlayStation's Eye. And then the last thing I want to talk about is that people are getting mad over the price of the Xbox One, which if you really look at it, the Kinect, it almost costs as much as the Xbox One itself. And they're pretty much just adding it on as like $100 bonus. That means that Microsoft is actually selling it for a whole lot less than what they actually need to be selling it for, which is pretty dang amazing. I mean, people aren't looking at the whole picture, just looking at what they saw at E3. I mean, you can go online and look at updates on the consoles. I bet there's still some people that don't even know about the DRM changes and all that stuff. Honestly, I think that the Xbox One is gonna end up being better than PS4 at this current moment. I've completely changed my mind about it, and I have a new intake. I have friends that have changed their mind about the PS4 or about the Xbox One and want to buy one now. Because I'm not gonna buy both. I'm only gonna get one. So I'll probably also be waiting. I'm not gonna get it as soon as it comes out. I'll most likely be waiting until a little bit later just to see how each console does and make my decision from there. But hey guys, this is Patriarchs Gaming. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.